Good evening, the great people of Biafra all over the world. Good evening, the great people of Africa. And I welcome you to this edition of Enlightenment. While you are joining, kindly invite others to join. While you are joining us, kindly invite others to join. It is very, very important. By sharing this message, by sharing this message, invite others to join by sharing this message. It is very, very important because we need to relay a very important message quickly. We need to relay or convey a very important message. Very, very important message we need to convey. While you are in, kindly invite others to join. Kindly invite others to join. If you are joining us, invite others to join before we start this message, before I convey this message. Very, very important message. Very, very important. While you are joining us, kindly invite others to join. Invite others to join. We have a very, very important message to convey. So, we must proceed. We invite Chukwokikabiama to give us wisdom, direct our path, that these words of enlightenment shall sink into the life of our people and bear a very, very positive fruit in their life. You see? You see? Let us continue. I am going to be proceeding. Don't forget, when you are joining, invite others to join. Very, very important. You cannot hear this gospel alone. There is something that I heard from that I saw this king was talking about, because our job is that whenever they speak to you with this political manipulations, we must be there to make sure that we take away, we we extract the truth and the lies and show you the analogy from what they are saying to you all the time. Because it is very, very important that you understand these people. The reason why I am actually using what they say to judge them, or using what they say to advise you, is because this is the word that they are using all the time. And whenever they come out to speak this word, some of you who are not are not yet understanding their ways or their rule of engagement, you might believe that these people are speaking on your behalf, or you might believe that this person is now joining the party, and that is not the case, because they try to politicize everything that they say to you, everything that they do. They politicize it. While you are joining us, please invite others to join by sharing this message. Share this message, because our people must decolonize or detox themselves from all these lies, that the manipulative lies in there that is being spoken to them all the time. Our people need to detox. Let us hear from this as something. Let us hear from him.
I think the opportunity we have now with Nnamdi Kanu in detention, Igboho in prosecution, is to pray God to let the conscience of the president cool down. We pray God to manage the mind of the heart of president. Let's now dialogue. This is a very good opportunity for dialogue instead of insisting on.
Number one thing is that you must understand that only dialogue is Biafra and the release of Mazi without end. Is the only dialogue that people are ready to hear from you. Otherwise, any other dialogue talking about, it is null and void before the people of Biafra. It is null and void before the people of Biafra. The time that you had the opportunity to dialogue, you did not make use of the opportunity. The time Ojukwu gave you room to dialogue, after that, what did you do? So there is no time for now. The only dialogue that is going to be acceptable is dialogue of referendum and the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I hope I am speaking in your mind, people of Biafra, because we are not tyranny. We are not dictated. We don't dictate to the people. the consent of the people, because power belongs to the reason why people say enough is enough. Colonial downclave all the they want to write their history by themselves. Therefore, the only that is dialogue of referendum or nothing.
Any military or violent approach. There's no reason for anybody, not to talk about even the president of a country like Nigeria, who should be very proud, to want to tear apart this country. I don't know what else to say except that our minds should cool and let be more grateful to God for what we have as a country.
Are you hearing him? Because the only way that, do you know that these people, the approach that they are using to win over you, the approach they are using to take away your freedom is the same approach being used by the colonials when they arrive in Africa. It is when they bring exactly what they feel that you want to hear, they present it in front of their concocted lies, and they tell it to you, and they will use the lie to concoct it, and they present it to you. Once you hear the first word, you will think that they are speaking good on your behalf. You will not know that this is politics, and politics happens to be a very, very dirty games to play. And that is the same reason why you are still languishing in that damnable zoological republic called Nigeria. Because the whole time you want other people to make the decision instead of you making the decision for yourself. The whole time you get carried away by watching irrelevant things. Those are your problem. That if you work on this problem, you will never pay attention to irrelevant thing. Knowing what time is it now? Are you sure that you are aware of what time is it now? This is the time for the first to be the last and for the last to be the first. If you don't make use of it, you will never get it right. So what I am here to tell you is that whatever this man is said, if it does not involve referendum of Biafra and then release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho, it is null and void. Listen more.
Nigeria. And they said sit at home for 2 days. That shows how people feel about the role of the president in the circumstance. But sit at home every Monday. On the first Monday, our children did not go to take exams, and nobody is changing it for them. Sit at home. I was coming back from the east. I came to OKG. I found people playing soccer on the highway. That is not this kind of culture we know of. Sit at home is not good. And I'm happy that when that was pointed out to Nnamdi Kanu, he clearly agreed with it and announced the cancellation.
He announced the cancellation. We heard that he said, and the people on the ground happened to say they don't want to hear we said. They want to hear it themselves. That's the reason why they are sitting at home, in case if you are not informed. I'm happy to inform you. So, the only language people on the ground want to hear, want you to present to them, is to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the only language that the people want to hear. You have tortured him. You have done all manner of destruction to him. Psychological torture, emotional torture. You have done all sort of torture to him. But we cannot take he said, they said. That's the people on the ground. That is their demand. And that is the reason why you see them sitting at home voluntarily. And you cannot change that. No matter how much you try to play politics, no matter how much politics you want to present into it, you can never change it. You talk about your children going to school. How many of your children are studying in Nigeria? If I must tell you, don't refer to other children whom you never cared about. You're talking about them going to school or not taking exams. Do you have a good infrastructure for those students to go to school? Or they will just go to school, after that, there will be no employment? That a graduate will turn out to be a Yahoo boy? Is it the type of go to school you keep talking about? Have you ever seen the classrooms for these students, for these children that you are talking about their education? It is only those classrooms that was built amid colonialism. Those are the same classroom, the same infrastructure they're still using. No one is maintaining that infrastructure. And you have the audacity to come and say the children, they did not go to school. Go to school. In Nigeria, what have going to school ever given to people, these people on the ground in Nigeria? When I know and I strongly believe in education, but is it helping you? No. If going to school is helping you, you will not invite foreign people from Europe to come and build your road, to come and build every infrastructure that you want to just use to camouflage and embezzle money. You're talking about children going to school. The ones that have gone to school, have gone through school, and have gone to school and obtained the school certificate. What have you done for them? That's the question you need to be asking this government, because they have nothing to offer you. All they do is to come to find a way to manipulate you, to place you in your comfort zone all the time.
Of sit at home. But some people, like the ones who went and cleared the akara a woman was preparing, poured away the oil, and enjoyed themselves. Some people, we don't have angels, all angels at home. There are some people who again from disturbance. But we beg them, we should act, governor or no governor, the town union, the Igwes, our people, the bishops, we should let our people know the truth. Tell them the only truth. With this order of sit at home said to be made by our own people, there is nothing to recommend it. And all our people should go to work.
Are you hearing that? I hope you remember the broadcast of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who said that they enslave you through religion and through ethnicity, even through politics. He is now involving the religious leader, because them political leader, they could not stop the sit at home. They now want to involve the religious leader to start advocating to people not to sit at home in solidarity with the person they accept to be the leader. Are you hearing that? That is why whenever they speak, if you don't pay very good attention, you get carried away with their speech because they politicize anything. The only thing you need to get from these people is tell them that unless you see results, you don't want to hear them talking big on the media. You only want to see the result. Because otherwise, you are going to keep hearing they said, he will say, they canceled the seat at home. That's everyday story. You want to force people to stop believing in what they believe in. Why? What is your problem? People want to sit at home. If you don't release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the level 2 of sit at home is fast approaching. And so will level 3 come. Until it gets to lockdown. Because you guys don't pay attention. You people do not pay attention. This politics that you are playing is going to consume all of you. You religious leaders, you traditional leaders, you political leaders. This politics that you are playing is going to consume all of you. Let me see that person who will go to call himself a religious leader to start preaching anti-sit at home. We want to see those people who call themselves the religious leaders, who will come to their pulpit and start preaching anti-sit at home when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, your savior, is still languishing in TSS custody. Let God punish that person. Because you believe you can eat your cake and still have it. That has been your problem because you don't pay attention. You believe that we are still in 90s. When people does not have access to watch TV. That's what you guys believe. We are still in the era of we don't have access to information. We are no longer in that era. And that is the reason why I say you don't check your time. You don't pay attention to your time, but yet you say we move with time. Time that you do not know about. A white man from Europe came from Europe and came to Africa. They learned industry. They went back. They have their first industrial revolution. In 18 I think 1880 something. They had their first industrial revolution. They had their second industrial revolution. They had their third industrial revolution. Now they have their fourth industrial revolution. They play politics and they understood politics. What have you achieved? Look at how old you guys are. Are you seeing how old you guys are? You never ever want to do anything that will benefit the country where you call yourself a leader. The only thing that you keep doing is to keep politicizing using high words of politics. Using the most of operandios of your colonialists. The same way they oppress you is the same way that you are using to oppress the people on the ground. When you feel like they're waking up, you bring politics. You are calling on religious leaders to stop preaching people to stop sitting at home. Let that religious leader try it. Then those religious leaders will understand what time is it. That this is no longer the time of deceit. We don't need deceitful people on this planet Earth anymore because their time is overdue. The people that we need to hear the gospel from are the people who are fighting to gather the sheep that was scattered by all these religious leaders all these years. People like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because it is through religion they bring divide and rule in your community. So the only language that we want to understand is referendum and the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or nothing. No matter how much you guys orchestrated your plans, your lies, no matter how much you concord them, we are going to make sure that we detox our people from these venomous lies that you are. Because you keep telling your lies to the people, believing that the time today is still the same time as yesterday. And yet, this your lie, you never use it to become the first world country ever since the year 1960 that you receive your glorified, wonderful independence. And you still accept to be in the colonial enclave called Nigeria, nigger area, the biggest franchise of slavery. The biggest franchise for slavery, found by Lord Lugard and his wife. And you still have the audacity to say that you will make a good Nigeria. How are you going to make? Do you know when you say a good Nigeria? How can you be productive from being a slave? Have you ever seen a slave announcing himself? That is what you guys are doing. That's the reason why you say you believe that we still have a great country called Nigeria. At the end of every lie, you will leave a trace. That's why you can never lead these people to their promised land. And yet you call yourself a traditional leader. It is high time that these people need to go and rest, take a leave, or retire. You guys need to retire because you still have the mindset of the olden days. You still have the mindset of colonialism. Because if you ever move with time, like you force people to move with time, when Europeans build their injection, you impose it on people. I even heard that you cannot do anything in Nigeria without getting the injection of the Europeans that they have manufactured for you. And yet you call yourself you need education. Children are being stopped from having education. Whatever they bring to you, no question asked, you start putting it on your people. As you can see, Nicki Minaj lamented that the cousin's boyfriend took the injection and had a swollen ball and became impotent. Do you know how they killed it on arrival? They invited her to White House to discuss it. You know the politics being played. The people who know politics. They invited her to the White House just to negotiate or to make sure that they keep her quiet from educating other people because she has influence to do the education. At that minute, immediately she announced it, they denied it just to kill her reputation, to make you believe that she is seeking attention. Who will be seeking attention and yet they have almost 49 million followers? What type of attention is that? What type of attention is that? How many followers does the president of America have? So this is how these people, they always try to cover the truth. And the only people they use to cover this truth, they use to oppress you, is these old people who you find in your leadership position. They are the people who you find in your leadership position. The next of them is the media house. The media houses. Because they were projected only to lie to you, to present to you a wrong information every time. Wrong information. When you go and tell the religious leaders to stop preaching sit at home or to preach against sit at home, I wouldn't be surprised if they pay attention to you, because some of them, they are the shepherd who lead the sheep astray. The shepherd that leads the sheep astray. They are the scatterers of the sheep. Instead of gathering the sheep, they scatter the sheep. The enemy of this world is the leaders of this world. The enemy of mankind is the leader. The enemy of you who call yourself Nigeria proudly are your leaders, these old people that will never think about moving with time. They tell you to move with time, they don't know what time is it. So until you begin to denounce these people and begin to call a spade and begin to fight for your freedom and write a new history about yourself and stop being lazy and waiting for others to hand their history over to you. Because I believe that this generation is the generation who are able to do it, who has what it takes to do it. Because when you stop being lazy, these people will never come to manipulate you. Have you seen this week? Have you seen all these headlines this week? Different people, if not Ohaneze, it becomes a Southeast leader. If not Southeast, it becomes the whole South leader. They come to with their different politics just to make sure that they take your mind away from the real thing. And the real thing is for you to keep sitting at home. Because when you keep sitting at home, these people will realize that these people that we have been marginalized, these people that we are playing with their lives, these people that we have decided what happens to them in 6 decades, they have woken up. Therefore, it is either we join them, since we cannot beat them anymore, and they will eventually succumb to the demands of the majority. If you want them to succumb to your demand, keep sitting at home. Make it sit at home level 1, level 2, level 3 until you get to that level 5 they placed you during the time of this evil, orchestrated, called whatever they call it. They placed you there, you never died. They made you stay hungry, you never died. You are not going to die placing yourself there to build a very better community, to build a very better history, to write your history and stop letting others turn it over to you. That is the story. Let me finalize with these people.
That's how we survive. Every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. No, because we praise God on Sunday. Otherwise, we walk.
They are telling you about not surviving because of sit at home. That's what they will keep telling you. They can never survive with your sit at home because they are losing billions. You are being saved from being killed, or you are being saved from violence that is coming from these people. That is the reason why they will tell you cancel sit at home order. But if you have your ears, better hear it. If you have your ears, hear it. Because your word is enough for the wise. A word is enough for the wise. And before we proceed to the next video, which I am going to talk about, because this next video signifies the last command given by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu before he was kidnapped or abducted in Kenya. There was a last command that he gave, and that command must be adhered to, must be enforced. Because some of you say there is a command and control. This is the time that command and control will come into the party. And we must stop listening to these people. Give them your info. Give them your demand. Give them your memorandum of demand. That's the only thing you need to do to these people. Memorandum of demand, and do what you want to do to enforce it. If it is sit at home, you sit at home. Wait for their result. Whenever they give you result, then you give them their own result by stopping the sit at home. Whenever you give them your memorandum of demand and they are wasting time with it, you keep doing what you do to enforce it. Because power belongs to the people. And no one will take power away from you. Only if you do not understand what you are. Only if you do not have majority. That's the reason why, because they know that whenever the way you have majority, when you are going to vote your boogeyman, when you are going to stand in solidarity with your boogeyman, and you promote your boogeyman to keep boogieing you, the same way that you must stand in number together and say no to this boogeyman. The last command, and it must be controlled, it must be enforced, is that there will be no election in Biafra land. The last command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was there will be no election in Biafra land. And it is not going to be like sit at home, that they will come and tell you that sit at home order has been cancelled because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. If this is going to be cancelled, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to say it himself. That is the policy. And that policy is the final policy or nothing. It is the final policy or nothing. There is this video I came across. I came across this video. You know, the most important thing is that whenever there is something that is set by Chukwu Kikabiama to happen, he will always trigger both, be it the enemy to enforce it or the angels to enforce it. He will always make a provision for using the enemy to enforce it or using the angels to enforce it. Because he will put in the mind of the enemy that whenever you do this, you do that, enforce it in this way, in that way, at the end of the day, they will blame it on you and this and that. Then the power of that organization is finished. That is their approach all the time. But this time around, both the enemy, the angels are going to enforce it. There will be no election in Biafra land. That was the last order given by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And it is only reversible if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could stand in front of the people freely. That means when you release him, he come to tell the people that there will be election in Biafra land, and due to these 1 and 2 reasons. That is how people are going to be obedient to it. Want you to watch this video. When you watch this video, for those of you who are saying, the people in the likes of Soludo, who are saying even if it is 3 people who come out, a result will be announced. Or even if it is 5 people who came out or who comes out, the result will be announced. The angels are already enforcing the law. The angels are already enforcing the law. Let's pay attention. We're doing political campaign. Wicked and mad people everywhere.
They are here. This is
You want bring flying for a place, man?
Come on, get down.
You pursue them finish. You want bring.
Hey, keep quiet. One more word.
Bring this man. Hey!
Can you remember? Can you remember? Can you remember? Can you remember?
See my house.
What did they do here?
See my house. Kill me.
Can you remember?
See my house.
Can you remember? I'm not joking. Can you remember?
Oh, Jesus.
What did they do there?
Can you remember?
That's not the party, never.
Can the party?
I don't know.
I want to national party over there. I know who party. I don't know over there. They party.
Jesus, the white man from Europe, you are calling him
What did they do here?
after messing up. Because
Say
I
that
know
what
you
you
don't
dey do
even
here.
know which Jesus you are calling.
I said, he said that what you they here they do.
I not tell them to go.
So, as you pursue flying,
I wanted to ask you. I go.
as you pursue flying, hey, sit up.
What did they do?
Party.
Party, good people. The party that get them.
Okay.
So
As you pursue flying, you know like him.
I like her.
Why you know one bring? Why you want bring them back again? Enugu West, you know a high problem. Why you now want bring problem for Enugu West
This is
again?
happening in Enugu State.
How much
We have asked them to start all this campaign party
now this man get
they are
the jeep.
doing in our land.
Now this man
they do
get
the
the
campaign.
jeep. They show them the jeep. Yeah. I can chairman where you here, we are waiting the video. Hey.
See my house.
We should stop doing any party campaigning.
See my house.
Now they spoil Enugu West, ba. Now they spoil Enugu West. Now they spoil Enugu West. So now no like us, you are to pursue planning for this man, ba. Now won't bring them back, ba. Thunder go fire on. We no go agree. We no go agree. Thunder go fire on. Say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thunder go fire on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I do them again, what is going to happen to them?
Kill me. If you see any partition for my pocket, kill me. Any partition for my pocket, kill me.
Go tell us.
If they do party,
No.
if they do party,
See my house. Now, message I can't deliver for you. See my house.
if they do campaign.
My house.
All this machine, break all the glasses. Break all the glasses. No. Break all the glasses.
Make you talk. The thing that they do here.
So, my people, this is how it is. The beginning of the new beginning of the Iron Doom. The doomsday, the doomsday is here. The last word of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be enforced. The last word, the last command must be enforced. You will never let him down. Even if you try to let him down, Your politician will not let him down because they will bring people to enforce it, just to blame it on you that will let him down. That is how it is. That is why he says that the time that you will believe that there is no one who is going to do it, he will bring people, even he will bring the angels to come and do it. That is the promises of God to the Israelite. You must go back to whom you were. You must go back to what you were before the colonials came. Because if you read the book of Isaiah, that's the reason why God said that he is married to you. But you committed fornication. You committed idolatry. You went and married white people from Europe. The God of Israel is married to Israelite. But Israelite chose to divorce him and go and marry another. That is exactly why you are involved with this contraption called Nigeria. Because you have refused. You committed. You cheated on your husband who is your God. And that's the reason why you find yourself in this one mighty mess. And this mess will continue until you change the way you are thinking or until you change the way you reason. If you do not change how you reason, this madness will never stop. The last command, there will be no election in Biafra land. It must be enforced. If they want the sit at home to stop, they must bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to say it himself. They must bring him to say it himself. And for the information of all these leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders, political leaders, for your information, you cannot stop people from sitting at home. You do not possess that right. And that right is not, that right does not exist in your constitution given to you by your white men from Europe. That right is not there. So that's why you don't have right to stop people from sitting at home, because they feel very safe when they are sitting at home. They have not started their civil disobedience yet. You are crying. They are only trying to avoid civil disobedience, and you are calling for it. So it is very, very important, and it's going to be very better for you to allow people to first, for once in their lives, enjoy their freedom. Allow people to exercise their human right. Allow people to exercise their right to strike, because people have gone on strike because you have touched the most sensitive part of the people. You have touched the most sensitive part of the people, and you expect people to remain quiet. They are no longer the zombie that you used to know in the 90s, in the early 2000s. They are no longer the zombies that you used to know. People have realized their mistakes. People have woken up to from their slumber. Because the only problem is that in Nigeria, there is no person, there is nobody that has ever been consistent in their life. There is no leader in Nigeria that ever been consistent. That is the reason why you find Femi Kayode in 2015 castigating Buhari. And now he is dining with Buhari. He has joined force with Buhari. Those are the people who sold Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Those are the people you call the friends to the freedom fighters. Because it is not the same thing they tell you in the morning that they are going to confirm with you in the afternoon. They are chameleon. That is what politics does. There is something I want to tell you. Obasanjo said, I think, in the United States. Obasanjo's speech in the United States, I don't know, I think in maybe in this 2021. But let's listen to it.
1999, the election, the Yorubas who will probably, it depends on how you look at it, they will be either the second largest tribe in Nigeria, or depending how, if you take Hausa Fulani, you separate them, Hausa separate and Fulani separate, the Yorubas might even be the largest tribe in Nigeria. They didn't vote for me. And immediately after I took over government, I called some members of my government. I said, look, the Yorubas didn't vote for us. Let us see what we can do. I didn't say that because they didn't vote for me, the type of statement that President Buhari made when, after the 2015 election, and he said only those who voted for him will enjoy patronage. Now,
are you hearing that? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? This, in case if you don't know Obasanjo, he was the former president of Niger area. So, are you hearing the declaration of your so-called Buhari in 2015 that only the people who voted for him are going to enjoy the benefit that will come out of his leadership? Only the people who voted for him. And yet you keep clamoring for one Nigeria. Let us pay attention.
Now that immediately put the back of some people up. Now, and then there are at least two zones who did not vote for him. South did not vote for him. Southeast did not vote for him. And anything he does, they see it, oh, he has said those who did not vote for him will not enjoy patronage. So you divide them. You made it they and we straight away. I would.
So the reason why I am playing this is for you to hear Obasanjo using his mouth to say that the president of Nigeria, the current mask wearer that's become mask wearer, dead and arise again, has divided Nigeria. He divided Nigeria in 2015. He divided the country, and then now he made a trip to Imo State. And these people in Imo State are claiming it is a meeting to bring Nigeria together again. How can you vomit something and you go and start eating it? It is only a dog that vomit and go back to their vomit. You divided the country in 2015 when you become the president, that it is only the people who voted for you, which are the Hausa Fulanis, that will benefit the fruit of your leadership. And at the end of the day, you made sure that you enforced your proclamation. You made sure that you enforced your promises. That is the reason why he brought all the Fulanis from Sahel, from Mali, and bring them, and they are asking you for your land to graze. And this is the same country that the Eze is saying to you that there is still something good that will come out of this great Niger area. This is the same country that the Femi Kayode is running from this party to that party, saying that he will only make difference when he have power. If you cannot make difference where you are, you can never make a difference. No matter how much power you are given, you will abuse it like you always do. But these people, they keep lying to you. They keep making sure that they make you forget how they bring themselves and force themselves on you. This is the same thing the colonials did. They forced themselves on you. You never asked them to come. They came because of your kindness. You accepted them. They forced themselves on you. Because of your kindness, when they are leaving, they handed you over to this syndicate that you call your political leaders, your traditional leaders, your religious leaders, to keep the same faith that you have been facing amid colonialism, rather. And this is the same faith that you will keep all your life until you die if you don't start changing your manner of approach, if you don't start waking up from your comfort zone. It is very, very important that you begin to change the way you think. You begin to change the way you reason. Because these people, they mean no well. It is not what they tell you in the morning that they are going to confirm to you in the afternoon. It is not what they promise you during the campaign. It's what they are going to offer to you when they become a leader. Because it is very, very sweet when someone needs a favor. But when the time comes for them to pay for that favor, it becomes a very difficult task for them. Pay attention.
Do that. That is specific. Then, when you have a situation where your own tribe is being accused of something, now you must be able to look into it and make it transparently clear that that accusation is unfounded, or if it's founded, you deal with it. There have been, well, herdsmen, farmers. Now, herdsmen are mainly Fulanis. Nothing has been done. Rather than doing something about it, what we are having is, okay, we will create colonies, cattle colony. Where will you create colony in Nigeria? Is it in my own part of the country that you will now make a colony? Who will give you land to create colony within its own state? So these are specific. You are asking for specific. I can go on and on, but there are many things that should not have.
I don't know if you heard him. Let's play the ending once more.
Farmers. Now, herdsmen are mainly Fulanis.
Herdsmen are mainly Fulanis. Herdsmen are Fulanis. Remove politics and call it what it is. Herdsmen are Fulanis. Being sponsored by this government. Mastermind of Britain. That is it. That is what it is. To come and take over their franchise. The biggest colonial franchise. Nigger area. The franchise that deal with slaves. That is what it is. They handed it over to Fulani to make sure that Fulani brings their return at the expense of killing the people, the indigenous people of the land. Because you found yourself in one mighty mess called Nigger area. That is the reason why you will never find peace there. Because God did not create that. Anything that is not created by God, do not expect anything different or anything good to come out of it. And while you are joining us, keep sharing this message. Keep inviting other people to join, because there is something we need to make clear today. We need to make something very, very clear. Because so many people are deviating from what is their position and what they're supposed to be doing in their platform. So many IPOBs are deviating from what they should be doing and doing what they should not be doing, or doing what they should be talking against. Because the only problem is that the only problem we have is, number one, we get too carried away very, very easily. We get carried away very, very easily. We get distracted. We get distracted all the time. And that has been our problem. And that will always bring us down to the lowest term. Because you like to leave the things that has more importance, that is very, very important, and you begin to chase after the things that is not worth it. There are many things happening in Nigeria. There are many people dying. There are many things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, many foundations that he laid, that people supposed to be walking through this foundation, that is supposed to be making sure that these foundations are standing tall. Your only thing you do is leave it, start competing. Who have the biggest audience on the internet? Who have the biggest audience? Who is the one who will people follow? I don't care if I see one or two persons for paying attention, because every day we come online, you make sure, as long as you want one soul for God, that is the most important thing. That you have millions of followers, you don't know anything to offer them. That doesn't make you a freedom fighter. I keep saying it does not matter who gives the message or who does it. The only thing that matters is that for you to understand that we have one common enemy, which is the Fulani. We have one common enemy, which is Nigeria government and their politicians. For those of you in this struggle, fighting one another every day, you come when you believe that things are coming back to normal, you find other people fighting again. Why don't you, at this pressing time, this moment that you need to stay focused, why don't you not, you shouldn't be paying attention to the things that will make you crazy, that will make you to come to the media. You're supposed to, morning, afternoon, and night, whenever you come in front of your mic, the only thing you need to be preaching is the gospel of freedom. Gospel of freedom. Because the only reason why people are following Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, do you know why? It is because he keep preaching the gospel that changed the mindset of people, that remove people from their slumber and bring them where they are able to reason, because their consciousness is awoken. That is the same reason why he called the Radio Biafra the University of Radio Biafra. But today, so many people are using their platform to come and castigate other people, telling us this person did not do this, that person didn't do that. That is not what you are supposed to be talking about right now. Let the dead bury the dead. Continue with the quest of freedom. Continue the disintegration of the damnable zoological republic. Continue to expose the atrocities that is happening there. That is your job. Continue to make sure that all the commands laid by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu before they capture him is being followed. That is your job as a leader. As long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is on a custody of DSS, you shouldn't use your time at any time to start saying this platform they did did this person did not follow the rules, that person did not do this, is not a registered member. What are you registering? Is not a registered member. Allow the leader to come out first and determine who is a registered member and whom you're supposed to listen to. That's why you don't need to lose focus of what is you are pursuing or what is pursuing you. Finish with one problem first, then you migrate into another. Because when you try to mix up everything together, you will end up messing them up. It is very, very important. There are many people that I used to look up to. There are many people that I used to look up to that actually dragged me to come into, to start preaching the freedom of the people of Biafra. But today they are disappointing me. They are disappointing me because I see them living what they should be doing something else. It is very, very important that you focus. When you focus and ignore the black sheep amongst you, when you focus and ignore all these sellouts amongst you, they will not even have the power to sell out again. That whenever they come to media to orchestrate problem, to do something that will bring chaos amongst the leaders, no one will pay attention to them. Because you are creating the platform for people to pay attention to gossip, for people to pay attention to diversion, for people to pay attention to things that divert their mind from what you are fighting for. That is the room that you are creating right now. And it needs to stop. You need to find every possible means to put an end to it. Very, very important. If you do not bring it to an end, believe you me, you will be a disgrace in this quest of freedom. You see the way that the leaders of the South have lost their power over their people. The more you keep talking, the more you keep criticizing other people, the more you're not focusing on what you're supposed to do, the more you will lose those people who pay attention to you. Leave every other things aside. Focus on the task ahead. Let us achieve what we are fighting for. Then you can complain later. There are people who do not agree with each other, but when there is a bigger enemy that comes around, they will unite together to fight their common enemy. Then they settle their differences later. Though this is a word of a wise person. Unite and fight your common enemy. Unite and face what is facing you. Instead of making yourself to have misunderstanding all the time, putting misunderstanding, misemotion, misinformation all the time. Do what you do best at your own lane. Let the others do what they do best at their lane. At the end of the day, we need the result. Those who have ears, let them hear it. If you do not have ears, keep wallowing in your ignorance. The same ignorance is going to come and swallow you if you don't change your ways, if you don't change your approach. Because what we are fighting against, we are not fighting against flesh or blood. We are fighting against the principle. And the only thing that beats a principle is a principle. So if your principle is to be a sabo, keep sabotaging. and the principle of the people who are focused. If your principle is to stay focused, you will be able to beat or supersede every sabo amongst you. But if you get distracted, the sabo will gain weight. Like those sabo who claim they are going to National Assembly, as if National Assembly is heaven or White House of America. It is just your right to go to any office in Nigeria. It is within your right to go request to go to see anybody you want to see. It is within your right. So don't come to make people believe that just because you go in front of National Assembly and start making noise, ranting like a microphone that doesn't work, and you want to use it to threaten people. Like I say to you guys, all of you that are sabo, that are waiting for small gains, if your problem is money, you must inform people, the right people, they place you on their payroll, or you must inform the right people, they make a crowdfunding for you, because all these things that you are doing, disgracing and degrading yourself, and yet you speak the same language with the mass number of people who are fighting for their freedom. Are you not animals? Mad people everywhere. We must continue. We must continue. It is 45 minutes on top of the hour. We are live and we are direct. The only thing that is we do here, we are whiter than white and we are whiter than snow. Let me see if we have some comments. Let me read the comments before we continue. Going to take the comment from Ezenwa. You can't leave those evil politicians alone. They will pay with their blood. Indeed, they will pay with their blood. Those who kill by gun will die by gun. Those who kill by machete, they are indeed going to meet another person who will machete them. That is how it is. The law of karma. You can never change the law. You can never change the law. Ugo Glory, I see you. I see you, Ugo Glory. Ike Ibe Chukwu. Ike Chukwu. I see you. Chukwuma Ora Ezue. Chukwu Okike Abiama, please protect our ESN. Those are the soldiers and armies of God, so their protection is rest assured. All hail Biafra from Njoko Ernest Obonnaya. Gloria, Ugo Gloria, say let's talk. Now we are talking. Now we are talking. And Monday, I see you. I see you on Monday. Aku great. Say more grace. Thank you for being part and parcel that makes this broadcast enjoyable. It is very, very important that we get this encouragement from you. It builds our faith the more. So we must continue. We must continue. So as I was saying, it is very, very important. It is very, very, very important that you understand that you have common enemy. when you share common enemy, you face that enemy and you now face your problem later on, because you must face the most dangerous things together. Then you tackle your own issues at the later stage. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he laid a structure, he laid a foundation of what is going to happen. He made a command: there will be no election in Biafra land, and that command must be carried out. That command must be carried out. For those in Anambra State sitting out there, planning their campaign, planning their election, waiting for 5 or 3 people to come and then they will give you the result like always, it is high time you prove them wrong. There will be no election in Anambra State. There will be no election in Biafra land. I want you must show them what it will look like in Nigeria in 2023. Because by that time, this gospel that we are preaching to the people will start paying attention, because it took so many years to confuse the people. So it is going to take more years to bring the people around again. So by 2023, people will understand. If you're ignorant, have not allowed Fulani, or if you're ignorant, did not make Fulani to take over your land, by 2023, people will be paying attention to all this gospel that is flying around the media. Because among all the preachers of this gospel, there are chosen ones amongst them. And the whole world is paying attention to them. So when you think that you are doing the Biafrans a favor by pick and choosing who must speak to them or who must not, you are actually disgracing yourself and bringing your capability or your what they see you as down, your guards down. But I advise you to focus on the common enemy. These people are not your problem right now, including those that you believe that they sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Leave the dead to keep burying the dead. Let's focus and bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Meanwhile, you were not aware the day it happened. So let us focus. Let us focus so that when you come to the media, you will know when the enemy is being bribed or paid. If you focus, you will be able to fish out every enemy that is preaching Biafra. But if you are not focused, you will never ever have the serenity to know the difference. We must continue. So as all these governors and Ohaneze and the senators are running up and down, let us see what will be the result of their promises, because we believe when we believe in action. We believe in action. We believe that it a play, it a show. That is what we believe in. That is action. The message that you have sent, an errand that you have sent to them, to go and send it to the mask wearer in Aso Rock. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because we don't even want to say grant him amnesty. He didn't do nothing. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. And bring the referendum for people to cast their vote. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and referendum for Biafra and ODUDUWA. Very, very important. That is the only language that people on the ground are willing to hear. Any other thing that you want to tell people on the ground, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. Any other thing that you want to say to the people, you are wasting your time. Because the people are still fighting for your own freedom. Because I don't think that you are happy that you are not with your family. You are in Nigeria Zoological Republic. Your family is in abroad. Don't you miss them? I know so many of you might not miss your family, but the other people who left their family in Nigeria going to find a greener pasture outside the country are missing their family. But some of them, because the country is not good and they have not made enough, they are not able to go home. So, this freedom that the people are determined to fight for, this freedom must be achieved. With this sit-at-home order, you will understand definitely that the people are determined to fight for their freedom. For those of you who said Buhari was in the forefront during the Biafra war and he made sure that the Biafra war was fought and won, Buhari is in Saudi Arabia and a shallow grave facing up from underground. And his imposter in Aso Rock is there, claiming that if people must mind their businesses, claiming that he is ruling you according to the Constitution of Nigeria. If the Constitution of Nigeria is what this man is using to rule over you, that is to show you that Nigeria is not working. There is nothing that will work in Nigeria. For those of you who claim you are intellectual, for those of you who claim that you are educated, can't you see? I hope you saw the interview yourself. I'm not the only person who saw it. They say that the Constitution is what they are using to rule you. By inviting Boko Haram, Fulani jihadis from Mali, Fulani jihadis from Sahel, Fulani everywhere, give them guns, give them ammunitions, make them to take over your land, make them to kill your people, rape your mothers in the farm. It is according to the Constitution. By kidnapping the children, 200 kidnapped today, 200 kidnapped tomorrow. Those are the same Constitution that is leading you with. He is leading you according to the Constitution. By releasing 465 Fulani, Boko Haram, the world's most dangerous terrorist organization. When you get them, you release them. This is leading you according to the Constitution. What exactly is my conclusion? My conclusion is that the Constitution is not working. So that means that leadership by Constitution of colonialism is expired. Therefore, a referendum must be prepared. A referendum must come into the party right now because it is more than 1 century. It is more than 1 century. That contraption, that company of slave was created. It is expired. So referendum now, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now or nothing. And I believe I am speaking the mind of the people. I believe I am speaking the mind of the people. Those who does not have a voice to speak for themselves. And I believe that through referendum, you are able to hear and know what is in their mind. If you believe that you want to carry everybody along, give them referendum. Let them cast their vote where they want to belong. If they want to belong with Chukwuokike Abịama, or they want to belong with the Lucifer called the Nega area. That is it. If you are leading by the Constitution that is not working, that allows you to bring in terrorists and release them, that allows you to go to the Sambisa forest, throwing weapon and food for the terrorists in the bush, it means that the country is ended long time ago. So let referendum speak for you to understand that the power belongs to the people. And that is the only way that you are going to make it work or to bring peace in that damnable zoological republic called Nigeria. For all our Biafran men, women, and children who are committed, making sure that they sit at home solidarity with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, making sure that they observe it with their heart, knowing the sacrifice Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is a husband to someone, a father to someone, and a brother to someone, sacrifice for, or what those sacrifices he made just to stop the hunger and starvation that you have been suffering from since 1960. Just to make sure that he put an end to the suffering that they are giving you since 1960. If you do not appreciate him, if you see God or Jesus Christ, you will never ever appreciate him. If you don't understand what is going through because of you, when you see God or Jesus Christ, you will never appreciate him or understand his work. Because we like to undermine our people. If an information does not come from a white man from Europe, the information is not valid. That is why you must decolonize your rotten mindset. You must change your way of reasoning. You must understand that no one is going to do it for you except you doing it for yourself. No one is going to make that decision for you except you doing it yourself. By obeying the last order, by making sure that whatever will bring or fascinate the movement of Biafra, the movement and the fast that will bring the freedom faster, that you must not leave any stone unturned, because the only result that we are looking forward to see is the actualization of Biafra and the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is the only task that you have in your hand. Because when someone is coming with restructuring, tell them to go to hell with their restructuring. Because Ojukwu accepted the restructuring. That's why they killed millions of you in 1967. Because you accepted the restructuring. Anybody who is telling you different from referendum, tell those people to go and shove it where the sun does not shine. Because the restructuring, the time for restructuring and dialogue is over. There is time for everything. A time to propose and a time of execution. So you have proposed all these 60 years. You have proposed since 1967 for restructuring, and the restructuring did not work. Now you need to enforce the referendum. You need to enforce the freedom, the separation. That is the only option that you have now. Because when that one happens, you will definitely see the light of the day. But when they tell you they will restructure, believe you me, you will not even understand difference between restructuring and now. There will be no difference between restructuring and now, because you will be saying that the restructuring is going through segregation, or the process is going through segregation, that it will be better tomorrow. They will start making you to live in the fake faith that you've been living on fake faith, faith that does not exist. That's what they make you to live on. And that's what they want to bring to your table again. Except if you make a right decision, except if you make a right call and reject the devil and all his work for the freedom to come. And at the end of everything, at the end of whatever that you are seeing today, like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, freedom will come. That is the only thing you need to place in your mind. That is the only picture that you need to be looking at, so that you do not deviate from the structure that is laid, so that you do not forget to stamp authority to regain your freedom. Because when you stamp authority and begin to do things that will make this government to know that they don't own you, that you own yourself 100%, to make you, when you begin to stamp authority, to send a message to those people that you call your representative, that they are not wiser than you, and you are not a minor anymore, that you are old enough to call the shot, to make the decision of where you want to be. And where you want to be is in Biafra land, and having the name you gave to yourself that is called Biafra. And the same thing applies to the people in the West. All you need to do is to seek for ODUDUWA, the same name that God Almighty gave to you. You answer it, because through that, your God is pleased. You will make peace with your Almighty God. When you call on Him, He is going to answer you, because you have retrieved your identity which He gave to you. You have retrieved your glory which He used to recognize you, that you are one of His own. Except or until you achieve these things, your prayers will never be answered. Your prayers will never be answered if you don't go back to what God recognized you to be. If you don't go back to renew the covenant with your God. If you don't go back to your root, you are finished. You are finished. Anybody who is going to tell you different from what I am telling you right now, that your prayers are not being answered because you have lost your identity. You have lost your identity. You don't know your identity. Therefore, when God makes a roll call, when God makes a roll call or check in the book, and He will be calling you by the name He recognizes you with, you are not answering Him, and you expect for Him to call you. When you call on Him, He will answer you, because God will know you are neglecting it, because you know the truth that you don't belong to the contraption called Nigeria, and you are forcing it, and you are saying that you have a great country, that you believe that you will have a great country called Nigeria. How do you expect God to come into your situation when you are rejecting what He gave you and you're promoting what the Lucifer gave you? And I am going to leave it here. For those who have ears, let them hear. Ways that seemeth right in the sight of a man, but the end of it is destruction. That is the damnable zoological republic. For those of you who are the leaders who are saying that you believe there will be a greater Nigeria, the end of it is destruction. The end of it is Fulani taking over. The end of it is death. The end of it is blood flowing on the street. A word is enough for the wise. Make a choice now. Make the decision now before it is too late. It's love from me to you. Let Chukwu Okike Abiama make you to meditate, to know that we are preaching the gospel of freedom and nothing else. That your mindset will be changed and bring back to the track with the help of Chukwu Okike Abiama. So shall it be. He say,